Good morning. Morning, everybody. Let's switch those brains on at the start of the day. Oh, some of you need that after those flights. Gently back. Come on, if I can reach my toes, you can. It's a long way down. Grab your seats. Introduce yourself if you haven't already. Say hi to everybody. And let's get ready for a big day. How many of you are excited about being coached this morning? Say yeah? Yeah! Rubbish. It's like, yes, I'm excited until you start giving me the lessons and remind me of the 10 things I should have been doing, but I haven't been doing. So most years at conference, I can replay the year before's conference video, and it's about the same. This year, though, we've had a good year. I mean, let's be blunt about it. We've had a good year. But the challenge is a good year is a good year, and we don't need a good year. We need what year? A great year. You know, so in looking at how do we build a great organisation, not just a good organisation, it's part of what we're here to discuss these next few days. And really, when I sit down and I start to think about it, one of the things that we have to do is, first and foremost, define what is great. How does great become a reality? What is the stepping stones to actually saying, well, yeah, we did okay, but now we need to do better than okay. We need to do that next level of growth. And so when you sit down and think about it with your clients, how do you get your clients to do great work rather than good work? See, one of the most wonderful things about your clients is they come to you doing good and saying, can we do great? Now, some coaches, they don't go for clients that are doing good and want to do great. Some coaches go for clients that are dead or dying, and they keep them alive. Now, how many of you are specialists in keeping alive almost dead business clients? You know, that's what you do. You go out and it's like you go to a networking function and you find the most sick, awful, worst business in the room and you coach them, you know, because that's the easiest one to get to. One of the biggest things that I've noticed about our organisation is that the definition of what we do has to be changed. The number of coaches who say, oh, we fix businesses, and it's just a mindset thing of, are you a good coach or are you a great coach? And how you define the two is by looking at, well, okay, am I coaching businesses that are drowning and getting them above water? Is that what I do? I find businesses that are struggling and then I fix the business. And I can almost tell if that's you because I can tell your retention rate. If your retention rate is under 10 months, you are a fixer. Or under 12 months, basically. You're a fixer of businesses. And you fix dead or dying businesses, and once you've fixed it, where does the client go? Somewhere, anywhere. They can't stay because what have you done? Fixed it. How long does it take to fix a business? 12 months. 6 or 12 months, you'll get them so they're not struggling. They get to the end of it and they go, gee, thanks very much, Andrew. That's been great. Catch you later. You know, I'm off. Now, on the great side of it, though, when we flip it over and we say, well, okay, what does a great coach do? Well, they find good businesses and make them great. If you're to be a great coach, though, that gets a good business and makes them great, see, I can tell that one because they've got a retention rate of more than 18 months. If your retention rate is more than 18 months, then I know you're a coach that takes good businesses and makes them great. You know, and that's where we've got to become. So one of the things that I look at with coaching is saying, well, okay, are you a fixer or a great business builder? Are you working to fix the business or are you working to build their dreams and make their dreams and goals a reality? And when we look at that, we say, okay, how do we do that with our clients? How do we actually go from being a fixer to building a great business? So, first task of the day on your table. Are you a fixer or are you a dream builder? Which one are you? And you can tell by your retention rate of your customers in most cases. You can tell by your conversations when you go to networking functions. You can tell. On your table, what are you, a fixer or a builder of dreams? Let's go. 1 minute, get right round the table. playlist is this? Is this Seminar Middle? Seminar Middle? 20 seconds, make sure you get right around the table. And start to finish up. And stop. So, where are my fixers? Where are my fixers of businesses? And let me know, I do have your retention rates in my statistics. So where are my fixers of businesses? Let me re-ask the question. For those of you with a retention rate of clients that's under 18 months, where are your hands? So you haven't graduated yet to a dream builder. Does that make sense? You know, when you sit and you think about what you do with these clients, you fix their business. What happens when you're a fixer? What do you focus on every time you're on a coaching session? Problems. You're a problem solver. What's going wrong right now? Let me fix what's going wrong. What else do you focus on? Cash. Where's your cash at? What's your money making? How's this? What's happening here? What else do you focus on? The lack of motivation. Get going. You know, I've got to push them. You become the taskmaster and you're really good at it. Get this work done or else I'll beat you to death. Hurry up. Why aren't you growing your business? And that client loves you, don't they? No, they end up hating you. They end up not wanting to work with you. They end up at a point of saying, I don't like this thing called coaching anymore. You make my life harder, not easier. Yes, I'm fixing the business, but I'm not excited by coaching anymore. I'm not loving coaching anymore. You're the drill sergeant. How much fun is that? You guys don't seem excited by this at this point in time. Is it the realizations that aren't exciting you, or the realization that now we need to move? You know, when I sit and I start thinking about fixing businesses, what happens is that we actually get so focused on the business we forget that we're coaching a human being. We forget that what we're here to do is actually build a person, build some people, build a team of human beings that then build the business. Why do we get focused on the business? Why is that the easy thing to do? Because you don't have to worry then about all of that other stuff. It's something that's there, it's tangible, we can do it. We know they're going to pay their bills if we focus on this and we make them the money. No, and you sit and you start thinking about, okay, what is fixing a business versus being a dream builder? So on your table, your discussion is, what is the difference between a fixer and a dream builder as a coach? What's the difference between those two positions? Around your table, let's go. 20 seconds, 20 seconds. Make sure you get right round the table. And let's start to finish up. And stop there. Let's get some volunteers up to the microphone. What's the difference between a fixer and a dream builder? Just a few volunteers up to the microphone. Let's go. Remember, when you get to the microphone, introduce yourself, because I might know you. Doesn't mean everyone in the room does. I need to slide that up a bit, actually, John. Just a little. And then bring it back down, because Andrew's behind you, yeah.
John Cottrell from Action Coach UK in Central Midlands. Yeah, fixer, sorry. What a realisation. You're talking about, I'm thinking, oh shit, that's me. I had a great client for 6 months. We increased profit every single month. I mean, this is great. And they stopped. And I'm thinking, why did they stop? Well, because their pain had gone. They could pay their mortgage, replace the tatty old car that nearly died. They weren't bumping up against their overdraft limit anymore, and the business was making 50% net profit. But where was the vision? There wasn't one. So what was I doing? Left-brained, logic, there's no emotion. It's all about the away from motivation, not the towards motivation. Away from motivation is very transient, it's up and down. Towards motivation is burn on rather than burn out. Will that do for the time being?
That'll do for the time being. Give him a hand. Thanks, John. Mr. Andrew.
Mr. Andrew from Harrogate in Yorkshire.
You can tilt that back down. Quite okay.
Thank you. I've got a fixer's head, dream builder's heart. Fixer is immediate issues, dream builder's 2 years out. Fixer's in, dream builder's on. Fixer's firefighting and reactive. Dream builders are planning and proactive. And with fixers, I tend to be coaching on the 6 steps blocks, and with dream builders, I'm coaching cement in between the blocks on the 6 steps.
Excellent. Give him a hand. Thanks, Andrew. Ken.
Hello, Ken from Portugal. Well, basically, they've said most of things that we also put on the table, but it's the dissatisfaction versus the vision, and the short sight and the long term. And my experience in 3 years is that sometimes people, when we try to show them 1 year away, 2 years away, they get afraid. So, and I think it's the building blocks to give them the 3 months out view, and then always go one year further. So it's the short versus long term.
Excellent. Give him a hand. Thanks, Ken. Very important. Peter.
Peter Scholes, South Africa. 2 things. One was mentioned earlier on, time frame. The time frame within which your coach is far further out in a dream builder as opposed to fixer. And I think importantly, the second point is, certainly from my experience at ML level, is that why coaches go for smaller clients is they lack their own belief in themselves as a coach. Mm-hmm. So they decide, well, hang on, I've got to go and find the smaller businesses as opposed to find the bigger one. And the majority of people are coming out with 15, 20 years of corporate experience. Why the hell would you want to go and work with a fixer client?
Excellent. Give him a hand. Thanks, Peter. Richard.
Richard from Action Coach Ireland. I have a number of clients now that been with me for a few years, and the first year, 2 years was very much about just fixing some of the challenges they had and helping them build their team. But once it starts getting to that level 3, level 4 on the 6 steps, the dreams start to get bigger. And some of the dreams, I had ambition for my clients, and I know a number of coaches would say that sometimes our ambition is bigger for the client than it is for they have for themselves.
Well, our ability to see what's capable of them is far bigger than they can see. They can't see it. We can see it.
And they just can't see that at the start.
Well, I want you all to listen. What Richard's saying is he has developed the ability to transition. He's developed the ability to go from a fixer to a dream builder with a client, to transition that client. Because in the beginning, as some of you said, they're scared of dreaming. They're scared of having the big picture point of view. But once you get them to that point, what gets them to that point is not just you, it's sitting around other clients. It's like being in a room like this, like being here the next couple of days. See, one of the big things about this Business Excellence Forum, and the reason it works with clients, is they will change their identity. They will start to dream. They'll allow themselves to make that shift. Does that make sense? Once we get them to dream builder clients, and that's what we'll do the next 2 days, once we get them there, how long are they a client for?
For life.
For life. So give them a hand. Thanks,
But
Richard. One
just,
more point.
One last point. With any of the clients now, if I can get them past a year, I can get them then through that transition. But the ones that just don't stay up to the year, they don't make it.
Yeah, well, you've got to look at how you get everyone to that past year.
Yep.
Great job. Thanks. Peter.
Peter Booker, East Anglia. For me, this is probably one of my most passionate subjects, so to speak.
Well, your retention rate's over 30-something months.
I think it's around 37 at the moment.
37 months. So where do you think Peter's at on Fixer or Builder, Dream Builder? Dream Builder, for certain. You know?
But the interesting thing was, in order for me to make that transition, I had to fix myself first. And it's amazing when you come into a franchise like Action Coach, especially when you come from a corporate background, you tend to come with so much shit, it's unbelievable. And it's only when you sort of align yourself and you start dreaming and you start planning 10 years ahead, as I said, birds of a feather flock together, you start to attract the people that have that desire and have the same outlook. And it really, for me, is about alignment. Once you know where you're going and you can work into the future, your clients will come with you. If you can't see past tomorrow, it's good luck.
Excellent. Give him a hand. Thank you, Peter. Thank you for perfectly stealing my thunder and making my next point for me. My point is real simple. If you're a fixer of their businesses, what are you of your own? What are you doing every day with your business if that's what you're doing with their businesses? Everything you've just talked about the clients is actually not about the clients. That whole session there was not about the clients at all. What was that whole session there all about? About how you approach your business. Fixing this, fixing that, working on the business, doing that rather than... See, to build a great business, we've got to build a great business. We can't just build a good business and expect it to be great. We can't have good clients and expect our business to be great. And when we sit and think about fixing businesses, if that's what you're doing all day with your business, you're not building a great business, you're running a good one. And running a good one's okay, but we've got to get to building a great business. So one of the things that happens about every 2 years is that the MLs in the UK and Europe come to me and complain about the top 100 status around the world because, but Brad, we get euros and pounds, it's not comparable to the dollar. Happens about every 2 years, you guys bitch and moan to me about that. So in 2 years, I know I'll be saying this again, but here's the point. I said, well, all right, let's take a look at the top 5 coaches in each of the main markets around the world. The Australian top 5 coaches, the UK top 5 coaches, and the US top 5 coaches. And let's see the statistics on them. So these are the bankings for, was it December month, Sam? The December month for the top 5 coaches in those markets. So here's their bankings in revenue. And the Aussie coaches have an average of more than 20 months retention. So they're around 22 months on average retention. You'll see the number of clients here in the middle. The number of clients, 28, 30, 31, 20, and this gentleman, Stefan, who has a slightly different model, he has 4,000 average revenue. But you'll see if you look at the average revenues, 21.90, 26, 36, 31, 4,000. It's about, what, about a 3,000 average revenue per client. But the number of clients is quite an interesting one. Take a look at the US, and I just pointed this out to them as a group. So here's our bankings, 86, 65. Their bankings are much further down, average retention of 14 months. But look at our number of clients in the top 5 coaches, 26, 20, 17, 15, 15. Can you see a slight difference in the number of clients between the US and the Aussie coaches? Average revenues, 33, 32, 27, 3,000, 29. So what's the average revenue? About the same. Does that make sense to everyone? It's about the same. So I come over to the UK and I take a look at the numbers and I say, well, here's the top coaches and here's their average numbers. 26, 46, 1,200, 31, 8, 70 and 1,200. 46, 31, 26. It's not much difference. It might be a couple of hundred different, but it's not the reason why. It's all different. Let's look at the coaching number of clients. 2011, 25, 7, 25, 17. Average retention of 13 months. What's the client number difference between the US? See, the US and the UK average client numbers are about the same. When you see the 30s and 28s and 31s, what does that tell you is the difference? No, they're not. Bruce is doing some fortnightly, but the majority of them are still weekly. But you see the number of clients and the average revenue, and you look at the retention rate. If you've got a retention rate, how are this number of clients kept? Because the retention rate is on average 7 to 8 months longer. If the retention rate is 7 to 8 months longer, and the number of clients, let's be real with the number of clients, what level of workload are these guys doing? Very high level of workload. Why? Because they're not doing all of the stuff in their business. All they're doing is what? Coaching. They've built a team that helps them build a great business. They know that they make more money when they're either on stage or coaching. And so they don't mess around with this stuff. They just go straight to it. So if we're to sit down and benchmark and say, okay, where do we want to be? Well, all three groups all have a fairly similar, $3,000 is sort of the number you've got to be aiming for to do that. And here's a real interesting one. How do you get to a 3,000 average approximate thing? You keep clients. Because if you keep them, you can increase the revenue of the client, therefore you increase the fee for the client. You know, so building a great business, when we sit down and start looking at the numbers and the volume and the workload that we go to, I have a bone of contention, and it's an interesting debate. Do we work harder when we had a job with someone else, or do we work harder in our own business where it's all of our own money? You know, a lot of people that I've met over the years of coaching, and a lot of coaches in our organisation, used to work harder when they had a job working for someone else. But it comes down to a very simple thing. If we, A, build good clients, if we build great clients, then we're looking at a revenue range far greater than a few hundred or £1,000 a month. We're looking at several thousand a month. If we build great clients, we keep them long term so we can increase the revenues, and also not just increase the revenues, but we have a greater number of clients. If you've got a 12-month retention, how many clients do you need to sell every year? The same number. You've got to roll it again and again and again. Whereas if you've got a 3-year retention, you've only got to sell a third the number of clients each year. So we need to sit down and start thinking about, what does a great business look like? Now, can we all come up with every excuse under the sun that this is the reason I haven't got there, Brad? Let me tell you this, and it's different here, and that's the reason, and all that. Can we do that, yes or no? Yeah, but will we build a great business if we do that? Hello? Will we build a great business if we do that? No, you can't possibly build a great business with every excuse under the sun. You can only build a great business with every plan, every strategy, all these other things that we need to look at. So to get to these sorts of numbers of clients, when I look at, you know, the level of workload of Earl Kemper sitting up here at 26 clients with now 7 grandchildren and all this sort of stuff, the guy works his tail off when he's at work. His team of people help build the business around him. But he's building a great business, not a good business. So what's the difference in an action coach business that's a great business, not a good business? What's the difference between one that's great and one that's good? On your table for 1 minute. Let's go. And start to finish up. And let's stop there. You know, when you sit down and you think about having a good business, one of the biggest challenges is you have a good business. You know, if we go back and we read the book Good to Great, one of the first things he says very bluntly is what, everybody? Good is the enemy of great. How come? How many of you hit a stage in business where your business is making good money, life's good, things are pretty good, it's not that hard, you work a few days, 4 days, not many, you know, but it's good. And what happens when we get to that stage? How many had a client at this stage? They get to good, life's good, and they're like, I don't know if I really want to go for great. I don't know if I want to work that hard. Here's a real interesting question. Do you think that I work more now or when I had a few clients? When I had clients, I worked 10 times harder. When you build a business, let me put it a slightly different way. How many of you are friends on Facebook with Ben Futrell? How many are friends on Facebook with Ben? Ben used to always post about working, doing sorts of stuff. What are Ben's Facebook posts now like, now that he has a business that works rather than him working? He's taken photographs all the time. Every time, all you see is Ben's doing a photo walk, teaching people how to use a camera, going. It's like, why don't you work? Oh, because I built a business. I built a team. I built a great business, not just a good business. You know, the reality of it is there a hump to get over, yes or no? Yeah, there's a hump to get over to build a team, to build a business and that sort of thing. Absolutely. But when you sit down and look at the benefits of going to great rather than staying at good, now most of you have seen this with clients. You've had a client that you've taken from good to great. How many of you have done that? The client's gone from a good business to a great business. They now don't have to work as much. They now relaxed more, all of that sort of stuff, because they came to you asking to be great. One of the challenges with some of our coaching team is that you guys don't come to me asking to be great. You come to me asking to be good. You know what, Brad, I'm buying this franchise because I want a good income. I want to have a good life. I want to do the good things, go to the good places. And for many people, it's not about being great. It's just about having it good. And that one big challenge is one of the biggest things. When you have clients that come to you wanting to be good, are they pretty easy to coach? You just got to fix the business, don't you? It's not that difficult. It's actually pretty simple, easy to do. When you have clients come to you that want to be great, now some of you are good at selling clients that want to be great. You know, when they come in and they're talking about their dreams and their goals and the big things that they want to achieve, you're like, yes, this is going to be a great client. You bring them on board. Others of you, when they start talking about dreams and goals and they've already got a 10 million a year business and they're already this and they're already that, and you go, well, there's not really much I can fix for you. I think you're doing all right. Off you go. Can't help you. Because you're not ready to coach great. You're only ready to coach good. You find it easy to coach good. So the challenge for me in a conference like this situation is not to teach you to be good, it's to get you to desire being great. It's like when we go to Berlin for the next conference, you know, the Emerald Lunch, we're going to go and race in the Formula One simulators at Mercedes. Now, how cool will that be? But I don't want people coming to do that if you only want to be good, because that's a great experience. It's not a good experience. You know, so we sit down and we start thinking, how do we go from good to great? How do we actually get there? If we've made the decision, you know what, Brad, I'm sick of good, I'm ready for great. I'm sick of good, I'm ready for great. It's like, what's the distinctions? How do we actually make that leap? How do we start doing that? Well, let's take a look at it. On your table, first thing to discuss, what is the difference between a good coach and a great coach? What's the difference between a good coach and a great coach? 1 minute around your table, let's go see what you come up with. Thirty seconds. And start to finish up. And let's get some volunteers to the microphone. If you haven't been up yet, come on up to the microphone. What's the difference between a good coach and a great coach? Some volunteers up to the microphone. Come on, over this side. Some people get up. Even you French people are allowed to come to the microphone. You know.
Hi, Kathy from South Africa. We basically said that a good coach tends to have an agenda, and a great coach leads clients to their definition of success. And the second thing we said was that a good coach tends to be a persuader, and a great coach tends to be an influencer.
Great. Give her a hand. Thanks, Kathy. Kevin?
Kevin Stansfield from South Central. A great coach takes time to think. Takes time out to think about the future and plan what they want to do. I don't think when you're starting up and going on, you just never take that time. And conferences and things like that really help.
Give him a hand. Thanks, Kevin. By the way, gang, when you come up to the microphone, let's use the I rather than we or you or everyone. Speak for your own truth, not everybody's. Lucas.
I am Lucas Vigilante, East Anglia. And, thanks, Brad. Great self-belief and big dreams of their own. So they've got a level of congruence with the
But not
client.
just big dreams, big plans, big actions. You know, dreaming is one thing, but without goals, plans, and actions, the dreams are just dreams.
And then strong self-belief.
Okay, good. Give him a hand. Thanks, Lucas. Andy? We've got to get to a lot more concrete stuff than this. So far, we've talked fluff.
Andy Hemming from Worcester in the West Midlands. The key thing is really having the confidence to coach on any area was the main area that we came through, and particularly strong in the financials.
Strong in financials is part of a great coach, but not just strong in financials. You know, they're great at marketing, they're great at sales, they're great across the board in coaching all those areas, not just one area of the business. Give him a hand. Thanks, Andy. Peter?
Me again. For me, I don't want to be a great coach. I want to be the best coach in the world. So for me, I look at it like a sport. So you take the athletes out there. My discipline is what it's all about. I wake up in the morning at 5 o'clock every morning. I'm in the office before 6 every single day. I read every single week. I do 2 books a month. I spend over £100,000 a year on my education. I can't be good. I want to be the best. And I'm that driven that nothing will get in my way. And my ultimate goal is to fill the O2 Arena with 20,000 business owners on a 3-day workshop. And that's what drives me. And you've got to live it. So for me, it's all about living it like an athlete would be. We're no different.
Excellent. Give him a hand. Thanks, Peter. Ken.
It's getting you down to the right level, John. Kent Rhodes, confused South African living in the UK. You know, you talk about being direct and no fluff, so that's pretty much me. And my personal belief is that I am great, and I'm going to do some fantastic things. So, you know, I want to have 200 people through Action Club, and I want to do what Rigoberto did in Mexico, and I want to take that to South Africa. So that's my personal dream. But it is my belief that some of the people in this room live coaching 12 hours a day instead of 24. And if you want to be great, you've got to be great at being a coach. And you can't choose to be a coach when it suits you, or choose to be a coach when things are good. It's when the shit hits the road, that's when you've got to be the coach. So from my perspective, people need to stop bloody talking and actually doing.
Okay, and you? And you?
I'm doing.
Good. Give him a hand. You know, it's an interesting one. This, particularly, not so much the French team, but the UK team in more than anything, worry too much about what everyone else is doing and rather than looking at their own backyard. You know, stop worrying about what everybody else is up to and what they're doing or not doing. Start worrying about what you're doing or you're not doing. You know, one of the big things that we've got to look at as a great coach, you know, because being a great coach is one thing. The next thing that I think is even more important is being a great business owner. Because some of the challenge is that many of you in the room are great coaches. The challenge is you're not a great business owner. As the owner of your business, do you push the CEO? As the owner of your business, do you actually do the right planning level? Do you demand that these things happen? Do you demand, do you demand, do you demand? So when you sit down and think about what does it take to be a great business owner, not just a great coach. You know, when we sit down and really think about being a great coach, part of it is the discipline, the leadership, the willingness, the knowledge base, all of these different areas that we need to work on. So when you think about it for you, what are the 2 or 3 things you need to do this year to become a great coach? Not a good coach, but a great coach. You know, you can define that for yourself as to what do I need to do to become a great coach. It's not that difficult. Where does it all start? It starts with a decision to be a great coach, not just a good coach. You know, the definition of a great coach, they have the retention, they have the high average. When they meet with a prospect, what's the conversion rate of a great coach? You know, where is that level of enthusiasm in that? But the next phase is saying, well, okay, I might be a great coach, but am I also a great business owner? Because being a great coach is one thing, but here's the big question. Can you be a great coach with only one client? Yeah, you can. You can have one client and actually call yourself a great business coach. Because you're getting great results with a great client doing great things. But you couldn't call yourself a great business owner with only one client. So on your table, what does it take to be a great business owner, not just a great coach, a great business owner? Let's go. 20 seconds, 20 seconds. And start to finish up. And stop. Let's get some hands in the air. What are some things do you have to do to be a great business owner, not just a great coach? Great business owner with some hands. Andy. A great vision. You know, do you have to have vision to be a business owner? Hello, yes or no? Yeah, so where is vision? How many of you can tell me you know your vision for your own business 4, 5, 10, 20 years out from now? Who has that clear in your own mind? See, if you don't have that clear in your own mind, how can you possibly build a great business? You know, we go back to the old IBM story of Tom Watson saying he could see these people in the dark suits walk into the big building. He knew what he was envisioning, what he was building. If we don't have the big picture, what do we focus on all day, every day? The task. We're fixing the business. We're doing the day-to-day little things that need fixing rather than this is what I'm aiming to build in a big picture. You know, that's a massive part of what we're looking for. Oh, good. What else? What's on other people's lists? Gary.
I think for me it's kind of the inspiration and the purpose behind why you exist. If you take yourself beyond being a coach and you have comes back maybe to like level 5 leadership, and you've got something that's bigger than yourself.
Yeah, so it comes back to the vision, though. It's that bigger picture than yourself is definitely a part of it. Good. Let's go to other areas. Emerson. So you've built a great team. You can't be a great business owner if you haven't built a great team. I mean, it's really interesting. One of the things that, let's imagine all of us in this room were all of a sudden doctors, right? Our business, we were medical doctors. Would we build our business with just us? Would we be doing the reception work? Hello? No. Would we be doing the marketing, the sales? Would we be doing the cleaning up and the nursing? Would we be doing any of that stuff? No. Why is it though coaches go into it and think if they do that stuff themselves? Lawyers, accountants, all of these different professions, we need to model great professionals if we're going to be great professionals. Building a great team is part of being a great business owner. What else makes a great business owner, Andrew? Discipline, consistency around daily habits and rituals that are done day in, day out, not just once a week, once a month. How many of you are using your IVVMs daily? You know, you do it every day. You idealize, you've got your visualize and verbalize daily. Hands up. Okay, here's a real interesting question for you. If you've passed your identity, if your I am statements are here and you're already performing here, how can you ever go any further? The number of coaches I've had say to me, well, Brad, here's my goals. And I say, great, so what is your new I am statement so that you can beat your goals? And they say, well, I haven't done my new I ams. Well, you can't beat your goals. What's the formula? Be times do equals have. If you know what you want to have, then you have to go to work on what you need to do. But in order to do that, you have to go to work on who you need to be in order to have. If your I am statements, if you are past your I am statements, or let's imagine your I am statement is, I am a great coach. Again, you can do it with one client. A better I am statement would be, I'm a great coach of 30 plus growing businesses that love me and stay with me. They've been my clients for years. I'm such a great coach, my client, you know, a real I am statement. If you're not doing your I ams, your visualization and your verbalization, don't expect to achieve higher results. Because you're not building your identity. If you don't become more, how can you do more and have more? Now, when I sit down and I look at it, when I talk I am statements, by the way, make them big, make them real, not just I'm a great dad. You know, I'm a great business owner. Define it, give it character, give it meaning. You know, I know for me, I can literally show you, I have a playlist in my phone that's called my 2013 I ams. So I rebuild my I am statements for 2013. I put them into my phone. I record them in my own voice. And I have a playlist that plays them back to me when I go for a run, when I'm doing a walk, whatever I'm doing, my I am statements are coming into my head. I have it on my desk. I literally have one of those digital video frames. You know, when you buy a computer, Microsoft gives you those half a dozen photographs in there, the screensaver type ones. I found a use for them. Finally. Type your I am statements up, put it on top of those pictures, save it as JPEGs, put it on your digital photo frame, and every day it puts it in my face, in my face, in my face, in my face. These I am statements that keep coming and pushing every single day. You know, how many of you have my IVVM video? You all have it. It's in the wiki. You can download it. That sits on my phone. Every night before bedtime, plug the headphones in, fall asleep doing that visualization. Every morning, wake up, plug in the headphones, wake up to the day doing that visualization. Do those disciplines become necessary to build a great person that builds a great business, yes or no? Yeah. Now, if you're not doing it, then your clients aren't doing it, and if your clients aren't doing it, they're not getting the results they're paying you for. Does that make sense? You know, I don't want to harp on any of these subjects, but there is a system at Action Coach for success. There is a system for send this letter on this day. Following that system's important, but if you're not following the idealization, visualization, verbalization, materialization, if you're not doing dream, goal, plan, action, I don't care how many letters you send, you won't get the results. Doesn't matter how many letters you send or how many ad critiques you do or how many seminars you put on. Excuse me. If you're not doing your visualization and verbalization daily, if you're not building a bigger and better you know, where is it going to happen? How do you become a great business owner? What else makes a great business owner? What else is on your pages? Prag. Leveraged marketing. But leverage is, let's just use the word leverage in everything. Leverage sales, leverage marketing, leveraged in all areas of the business is phenomenal. Lack of leverage is not a great business owner. A lack of leverage can't build a great business. Good. What else is on our pages? Definitely decisive is part of it. Even if the decisions are tough decisions, they're decisive. They make the decisions. They do what needs to be done to build a great business. Good. What else makes a great business owner? Impacting the community can be definitely a part of it. Our business does that all the time. Andrew? Don't be nice. Do what you say you'll do. Have your own coach is probably a very big part of it. You know, so when we sit down and we start thinking about being a great business owner, what is the biggest problem for most of you in this room? You own the business and you're the CEO. With you owning the business and being the CEO, can you be a good CEO if no one is being your boss? If you're not a great boss, if you're not a great owner, you won't push the CEO. If you tomorrow hired someone else to be the CEO of your Action Coach business, tomorrow you hired someone to be the CEO. You can work as the coach, absolutely, but you hired someone to be the CEO. As the owner, would you demand that they worked a lot harder than you do currently as the CEO? What level of plan would you demand out of them? What level? Would you demand that they showed you a great business plan so that you could let them run the business, yes or no? Yeah, and this is the challenge, that as business owners, because we have such a close relationship with the CEO, in that it's you, that closeness of relationship redefines our level of greatness. You know, it redefines where we need to go to. So when we go and say, okay, I want to be a great business owner and I want to be a great coach, your job right now, what are the 5 or 6 things you need to do this year to be a great coach? And what are the 5 or 6 things you need to do this year to be a great business owner? Put it on your notepad, get it down on paper. Let's go. Get it on paper, team. Get it on paper. No need to chat. Thirty more seconds. And let's start to finish up. You know, one of the funny things about talking from good to great is that sometimes we miss the fact that we've had a good year. Have we had a good year as a group, yes or no? Revenues are up, client results are up, client retention is up, average revenue per client is up. All of these things are up. But it would be remiss of me as a business leader to say, let's stop there. Let's stop at good. You know, sometimes when we do these sessions, it's like, oh, damn, you know, I feel awful. I haven't done this, and I haven't done that, and I haven't done that. Well, we're in a position now where we can challenge this. A year ago, could we have even challenged looking at great? A year ago, we couldn't have challenged this position. A year ago, we couldn't have really said, let's strive for great now, because a year ago, we weren't ready to. The year that we've had, the good year that we have had, now lets us strive for great. Does that make sense, the difference between last year and this year? You know, we're in a position where we can go to being great, to having great businesses. You know, when I sit and I think about the future of the business coaching industry, we're looking at an industry where literally we will have thousands of coaches, thousands of them across each of our countries that we trade in. Because when you think about the number of businesses that need help right now and would be willing to pay for it. You know, now with our coaching programs, we're literally with our what we're calling Mentor Club, where we can have 4 business owners sitting around a table and coach all 4 of them for $500 a month each and do 1 hour a week with that. Literally, there is not a business in the world that can't afford our programs anymore. Not one. You know, when you sit and think about how phenomenal this will be, my biggest challenge right now is saying to every single one of you, as good coaches, when you become great and then build other good coaches to great coaches in your team, we then can satisfy this demand. And when we sit down and really start thinking about the level of demand, how many of you over the last 4, well, I'm not sure how long every one of you has been in the room, but some of you have been around with me 5 or 6 years, up to 10 years, some of you, and you sit there and you think about it. How much has the market shifted around business coaching in that time? Have they gone from what the heck is business coaching to now you're having phone calls saying, hey, I need a coach? You know, now it's not a lot of them at this point saying, hey, I need a coach, but they're starting. They're moving down that road. And as we get further and further down this road, are those phone calls going to get more and more often? Yes or no? By far. And we need to be in a position to take advantage of those phone calls. It's why we need to be great before the market needs us to be great. We need to be massive. We need to be ready for them. You know, historically, we've built our action organization by just going after the one-to-one. Now we realize very, very clearly the more of the one-to-many that we can do, the better it is. Because the more of the one-to-many builds more of the one-to-one. You know, a great coach and a great business owner in our business builds their own clientele. How many of you have done that at some point? You've got someone in at a profit club level, or they just read a book, or they started at a very low monetary value. As they've built their business, they've moved up with you. Who's done that with clients? It's exciting, isn't it? What if we did that with 100 clients this year? What if you had 100 people start out at that very low level of $1,000 a month or whatever it is, or sorry, $1,000 a year, and you sat there and you thought, gee, these people in 5 years, if I'm a good coach, will all be one-to-one clients. That's the exciting part of what we have in front of us. And that's why we need more leveraged programs. We need to have, you don't need 10 coaches on your team, you need 10 marketers on your team. You don't need 10 people, you need to be up there on stage dealing with 200 clients rather than in a back office dealing with one client. This is where we need to build to be a great organisation, not just each of you being great, but we as an organisation being great. You know, the more we serve, the more we get remunerated, the more we get rewarded. How many business owners can you serve? You know, one of the interesting questions I ask for coaches is, what level of responsibility do you take on for your business community in your area? When a business fails in your area, do you see that as your problem? You know, at what level do you take on the community responsibility? How many jobs did you create last year? You know, I know one of the teams in New Mexico, in Albuquerque, Mark and Nicole Tobias, and any of you that know Mark and Nicole, you know them because they are the tallest action coaches in the world. They're literally Mark's 6'10" and Nicole's 6'4". So, you know, husband and wife team. They created 260 jobs last year. They made it their mission to create 1,000 jobs. And they created 260 jobs in 1 year in Albuquerque. And you sit down and you think, at what level, at what level, at what level? You know, how many jobs, how many businesses are you going to save? Because, you know, on average, when we did the surveys, on average, our coaches create 36 jobs a year, on average. Some do more, some do less. Here's the interesting question, though. How many jobs do we save, not just add? How many jobs have you saved in the last few years because of businesses that haven't gone under because you helped them? That businesses that didn't have to lay off because you helped them? Economically, right now in the world, we are ready for the next boom economy to go forward, okay? The corporate giants around the world, are they cashed up and ready to go, yes or no? What did we just see? The first of the major deals, Dell. Michael Dell just, what did he spend, 24 billion to buy back Dell and make it a privatized company again and build that company. And you sit down and you start thinking, it's the first of many to come. Some of you have clients that are poised, cashed up and ready to start investing through this major cycle that we are in. This cycle of prosperity is going to be bigger than we've ever seen because the world economy is going to come back in a roaring thing. Now, it might not be this year, it might not be next year, but it's definitely going to happen. Does the cycle always happen, yes or no? Always does. And we see this cycle. So are you ready to take advantage of this cycle? Are you going to be a great business owner and by the end of this cycle have a phenomenal business and be ready for it? I mean, this is the opportunity that sits in front of us as a team. This is why if I ever come across as being frustrated, it's because I see the size of the opportunity and I go, we've got to do this. This is how big this thing is. It's with great excitement that I look at this opportunity. To do that, though, we've got to do some very specific things. To take advantage of this and become great, we've got to do some very specific things. So the first thing we have to all have is what? Everybody, a great plan. Not just an average plan. A great business plan. If you're to define and build a great business plan, what would that look like? How long would it be in advance? Where? How many years? How many days? What would be in the plan? What sort of things? If I was to ask you in the room right now, raise your hand if you believe you have a great business plan. You know, the 5-year documented plan for the business. It's a great business plan. Who has one? One person at the moment, okay? And you sit down and you think about that. Is that good enough for a business coaching organisation that one of us has a great business plan? Hello? No. Nowhere near good enough, is it? Great. So on your table, what does a great business plan look like? What sort of things should you put into? How do you build a great business plan? On your table, discuss it. Let's go. Thirty seconds. And start to finish up. And stop. Let's again get some hands in the air. What sort of things are going to be done for a great business plan? Hands in the air. Market survey, understanding the market. If we don't know the size of the market, the number of businesses in the market, the type of businesses, if you can't tell me how many dentists there are in your marketplace, you haven't done enough market research. If I can't ring you and say, how many chiropractors are there in your marketplace? How many plumbers are there in your marketplace? How many businesses that have sales teams are there in your marketplace? If you don't know that, you haven't done a good enough plan yet. So when you sit down and you work out there's this number of dentists, all of a sudden you can actually do good marketing. Good. What else is in a great plan? Clear vision has got to be a part of it. Clear goals, all of that stuff have to be a part of it. What you are and what you're not. Very clear. Good. What else has to be in there? Testament. Well, you've got to know your milestones. That's got to be in there. Goal setting, milestones. Good. What else? Sorry? Structure of the organisation. Budget has to be in there. What else? All those things. I'll tell you how I believe you do a great business plan for 5 years. What you put together, and the way I would like you to do it, is to stop thinking of your plan as a business plan and start thinking of it as a calendar. Okay? A 5-year calendar. And the best way you can do this is actually get a wall about the size of the wall over here on the thing. And go to the local stationery store and buy yourself hundreds of post-it notes of all different colours. Why do we want different colours? Different colours represent different segments of your business. So you come up to the wall here and you go out and you start with your goals of your 5 years. Where are we going to be? Then you start looking at, okay, how many people do we need to achieve that? What's the budget needed to achieve that? And you start putting up, here's our marketing. So the purple ones might be marketing and the blue ones might be sales. And well, if we've got that many, if we want to hit that budget, we need this many clients. To have that many clients, then back here we'll need to have, and you break it up into quarters so that over the next 5 years you have all of the quarters, there's 60 quarters, and you develop your business. So I did this with one of our coaches in the US, Renee. And Renee is a very high D, but also extraordinarily high C. So he created this, he went and did it, and he created this master spreadsheet that is about 4,000 cells wide, and it's phenomenally deep in all of this sort of stuff. And Renee tells the story different to the way I tell it, but he said, because I said, Renee, what's your goal? He said, $4 million. When you asked Renee, why did you say $4 million? He said, well, Brad wanted a goal, so I just threw a number out there, because when Brad asks for a goal, you just kind of throw stuff out there just because Brad wants you to write it down. You know, he didn't actually want 4 million, but he threw a number out there. And when he threw the number out there, he actually just thought, oh, I don't know if that's possible or not. But by the time he'd spent several weeks building this plan, guess what his response was after having done the plan of 5 years? It's actually very easy to do that. That's not big enough for what I can actually achieve. Because he'd actually done the work. When you do the thinking, when you do the planning, when you actually work it back and work it through. You know, how many employees will I need to have that? If I've got to do this much marketing and create this many leads, who's going to manage that? Where's that going to be? And if I've got that many employees, what size office do I need? And where am I going to fit those people? Hang on, what's the budget for that? Well, if the budget for the employees is that, then we need to have, so we need to go back. And over time, your 5-year calendar, because see, the problem with most people is they put a business plan together and there's no time frame, there's no structure to it. If you spend a week or 2 weeks, you know, a bit of time here, a bit of time there, and over a period of 3, 4, 5 weeks, you put together on a big window or a big wall at your office or at your house 1,000 post-it notes all over the wall creating this. Can you then go back and start to put a calendar together of what needs to happen when and how it needs to happen and who needs to do what and when you need to employ people and when you'll need to actually run the ad to employ the person to do the job, to do the thing. Once you have that plan structured, set up, put together, what all of a sudden starts happening? You know what you're doing. So you stop doing the day-to-day, fixing the little things, and you start going to work on creating what? The big thing. You know, it's phenomenal the power of doing this. Can every single one of us do this, yes or no? Can we all go and buy post-it notes? Buy shares in 3M, their sales just went up. You know, and we sit down and we think about it. Now here's the next question. Once you do this for yourself, how many of you have some clients that would love to spend 2 days with you doing this for their business? Hello? What would your clients pay you for 2 days of facilitating them doing this sort of a project? Would some of them pay you 10 grand to do something like that? Yes or no? Hello? Yes or no? 2 days of full-on business planning like that, 10 grand's a dead easy walk in the park for that type of stuff. Now, some of you are still working with the fix-it businesses. You'll have to start fixing them and then build them to a point where... But what if you took all of those fix-its and turned them to a business that could afford to do that with you? Imagine in December, instead of having, you know, oh, December's quiet, imagine in December you actually had 5 clients that you did 2-day retreats with, 10 grand a piece. How's December all of a sudden? You know, this stuff, it's phenomenal. But when you get that wall, how many of you can see it in your mind now, what that wall would look like? You can feel yourself sticking the things up on the window, sticking them up on... I do it at home, and I have 3 big windows, and, you know, when you look at it from the outside, it's like, what do those people do in there? You know, but you sit there and you think about, how's that plan? Where does it all come together? And what's the strategy? And what's that look like? That's when you start to get real clear. You know, to achieve that goal, I need this many leads here because at this conversion rate, and this is the... And it's far more fun all of a sudden to build a business because you're actually building a business, not just earning a living. Does that make sense to everybody? You know? So when you think about it, what have you got to do? When you get home, what have you got to do to build a great plan for your business? On your notepad, 2 or 3 things that you've got to do to build a great plan for your business. Not anyone else's in the room, yours. Let's go. And start to finish up. How many of you excited about buying Post-it notes all of a sudden? It's like, I want to buy Post-it notes. You know what I want to see in a month from now? In a month from now, I want to see Facebook photos of walls covered in Post-it notes. Because what happens is, and here's the most important thing about a great plan. Great plan isn't about the document. A great plan is about what? The process, the time you invest. You know, when you get home from this conference, I don't want you to start new strategies. I don't want you to jump in the deep end of doing different things. What I want you to do is to spend the next 4 weeks putting together a wall full of Post-it notes. You know, an hour here, 2 hours there, a half a day there. Bring one of your friends in, discuss some things, show it to them as you talk it through and explain it to people. What's going to happen? You're going to get clearer on it. They're going to ask you questions and you go, well, that's a dumb question. I haven't thought of the answer yet, so I better do that. I need another colour. You know, where is the education segment of your business plan? Because that's one of the big things that I look at is, okay, we're going to double the business or quadruple the business. I need to go and learn X, Y, and Z to do that. The education, the investment in education to get you there. Now, what courses do you need to take in order to be able to, Does that make sense? You know, I get so excited when I start thinking of every one of you in this room having Post-it notes stuck all over a wall in your house, in your office. Your kids will walk in and go, what the heck's this? Start ripping them off, so make sure you keep it high, you know. They can re-stick them around, just for fun, you know. But when you start just throwing out the goal just because Brad said, hey, write a goal down, when you write down your letter to yourself at the end of a conference, actually know that you're going to go and put a real plan together to do this. A real 5-year, here's what it's going to look like, here's how we're going to do it, here's where we're going to be. Now, many of you mentioned it, the start of this is not just having a great plan, but actually setting great goals. Great goals. Not good goals, but great goals. So, on your table, what's the difference between good goals and great goals? What are the differences between good goals and great goals for a business? Not just for life, but for a business. Let's go, on your table. 20 seconds. And start to finish up. And let's get some hands in the air. What are some things with great goals? John. Tell us the...
Sorry, okay, that it's exciting enough to get you tingling, but it's actually doable by me.
Yep, so it's exciting enough. You know, I sit down and I think about that. For a goal to excite you, it's got to be big enough that it actually scares you a little as well. Okay, got to have both in it. Good, what else?
I need to believe in it.
Believe in the goal? Not necessarily. When Renee set the goal of 4 million, he didn't believe in it. But once he did the plan, all of a sudden now he could believe in it. Most of you, if you were to sit down and really think about the goals you have, you don't believe in them when you start. But that's why the plan is dream, goal, plan, action. The goal cannot be realistic until you've done the plan, until you've written the plan. So it's a very important point. Good.
I think for me it's making sure, one, the goal is achievable, keep the motivation right, but having that line of sight to the vision, so you've got that full connection.
So it goes towards the vision. Now let's go back to that thing of it's achievable. Most of your clients, when they set their goals, they don't believe they're achievable, but you do. Huh. So who says you need to believe that your goals are achievable when you write them down? Once you write a plan, guess what? See, this is what blows my mind. If your goal isn't big enough that you have to grow to learn how to achieve it, then what's the use? Most people set goals. If you set a goal that you actually know how to achieve it, it's a rubbish goal. Do you think sports people say, I'm going to set a goal to achieve a personal best of this, and to get there, I don't know how to get there right now, but I know if I train and learn and do more, I will get there. Good point. It's like when they said, let's go to the moon. You know, JFK set the goal of going to the moon, having no idea if that was possible. Does it make sense? You know, there's no idea if that's possible. So what is possible with this stuff? I don't know. Andrew? So facts and faith is being the thing. Well, let's go back to that thing of a good goal is based on facts. Can you set a business goal if you don't know the size of the market? You could, but it would be based on what? Your own needs, your own desires, what you need to make a living. Most of the challenge with our industry or our businesses right now is that the majority of business coaches set their goals based on what they need to live on. Well, you know what, Brad, I need a couple of hundred a year to live on. Excellent. So you build a business that provides what? A couple hundred a year. Whereas this gold mine doesn't have only a couple of $100,000 a year in it. This gold mine actually has billions of dollars a year sitting in it. The question is, will you build a business based on the market size? See, for me, business goals that are great start with understanding how much gold is in them thar hills. If you don't know how many businesses there are, how can you set a goal? Now, if you set a goal to have 12 clients, it's not based on fact, it's based on personal need. If you sat down and worked out, let's just say in your area there were 200 dentists. Would that affect your judgment around your goal for the number of dental clients that you should have? Yes or no? Yeah, but if you don't know that number, you can't set the goal. How many photographers are there in your marketplace? How many web designers are there right now in your marketplace? How many social media consultants have all of a sudden popped up in your marketplace? They were business coaches 2 years ago. They just changed the printing on their card. You know, you start to think about all of these things. How many restaurants are there? How many hotels are there in your marketplace? How many real estate agents are there in your marketplace? See, once you know that information, only then can you actually start to determine what goals should the business have. If I was a good owner and I hired a CEO, I said to the CEO, Andrew, come back to me with an analysis of the market so we know how much business we should be getting. That would be what you would do, wouldn't it? Yes or no? If you hired someone to run this business, you would say, I want to know how many businesses are there, how many of this size, how many of this size. See, our business for years, as the market has grown, as the coaching industry has changed, we skimmed the surface of the readily available, easy to get people that were ready for coaching. True or not? It's what we did. Now what we have to do is stop going skim the surface and start actually getting an understanding. Hunting is no longer the strategy. We do want to keep some hunting, yes or no? Yeah, absolutely. You've got to have some meat with the vegetables. So we've got to keep hunting. But we now need to start what to build our business? Farming that market. Really understanding the marketplace. Knowing that that market is there. You know, I sat with some coaches and I actually interviewed them on one of the CDs of the month. And they said, Brad, we're going after accountants. I said, fantastic. They said, we sent them this letter and we followed up with them. I said, good. What are you sending to them this month? What was their answer? Oh, when we've already sent them last month. We did the accounting. I said, no. You know, if a coach says to me, oh, we're going after this target audience, unless you have a 12-month plan of how you're going to impact that target audience, don't even bother going after them. No, really get deep. We'll talk more about a marketing plan in a little while. But starting to understand your goals and sitting down and thinking, how many of this type of business? How many of that? What size? Where is this? Now, here's some of the things that you'll find. One of the important things that you'll find is that 80% of the businesses in your market can't afford one-to-one coaching. So once you find out that 80% of them can't afford one-to-one coaching, will your goals change, yes or no? Hello, yes or no? Has to change. The business can't just offer one-to-one coaching at that point in time. It has to do group-based programs. Has to do leverage-based programs. Now, when you start thinking about your goals based on how much available business there is, at that point in time, you really start building a phenomenal result. That's the exciting point. So, when you get back to your business, what have you got to do to build great goals? What are the 2 or 3 things you personally, for your business, must do to build great goals for your business in order to build the great plan for your business? Let's go. Focus on your stuff right now, team, just yours. Get it on paper or on iPads. And start to finish up. So I just want to discuss responsibility for a moment around business coaching. One of the interesting things for each and every one of us in this room is we've all been given a gift. We have the gift of a level of knowledge that we can help business people with. If I was to sit down and ask you this question, how many businesses in your marketplace went bankrupt in this last year that you could have saved? How many businesses will go bankrupt this year How many jobs will be lost this year that you could have saved if you had a team of 20 coaches working with all these business owners? If your business was purely a charity, would more people give you money than what are giving you money right now because you're doing phenomenal work helping more people? You know, one of the interesting things about responsibility is, well, you know what, Brad, I'm not sure I really want to build that much or do that much or build it to that point. Well, I'm sorry, but you have the responsibility to. They need our help. We are here. We have the knowledge to help them. It's our job. It's not our job to just provide enough for ourselves. It's our job to provide enough for as many as we possibly can. You know, there are so many businesses out there right now that need you to have a team of 20 people helping you do it. How many business owners need you to be putting on a group coaching program that they can invest only $500 a month or £500 or €500 a month to be able to go to that program? How many of them need that? There are hundreds of them in your market that need that now. At what point will we truly live the vision of our corporation, of our entity, of our team, and truly live it and say, you know what, just providing enough for me and my family is not enough. It's not. It's not okay to just provide for me. What's okay is for me to fix thousands of businesses in the next few years. Thousands of them. To save tens of thousands or create tens of thousands of jobs because of the work we do. The economic impact of doing great work by putting together a great plan with goals based on how many people need us, want us, can afford us, and will pay for us. Real goals. That's the exciting part of what we get to do every single day. You know, if you really understood your marketplace, how many coaches would you need to help you? How many marketers, how many sales team members, how many people to just put you on a stage managing events would you need in your area to make sure that every business owner that needed help got it? If you said, you know what, Brad, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invest $250,000 in the next year putting on free seminars everywhere in my marketplace so everyone that needs help gets some help for free. How much would that return to you if you put on £250,000 or euros into free seminars all of a sudden? What would the return be if you had group programs for attend and one-to-one coaching for them to buy and all of these other things? We have a level of responsibility that we need to step up to. Does that make sense to everybody? You know, it is our responsibility to do this. So, understanding great goals then brings us to, okay, what does a great inventory look like? What should we be selling? What products, what services should we have available? How do we build a great inventory to make sure that every person that needs help, assistance, work can get it? How do we actually make sure that everyone needing help can get help? What should our inventory look like if we're running a great business? On your table, let's go. 20 seconds, 20 seconds. Make sure you get around the whole table. And start to finish up. And let's get some hands in the air again. What do you got to have a great inventory? Some hands that haven't been up yet. Who hasn't put their hands up yet? What do you got to have? What were you discussing on your table? Let's go. Who hasn't raised their hands yet? What the market needs, not what we have. You know, if you were a retailer, would you keep stocking the same old stuff that didn't sell? Hello? No, you would start stocking. How many of you have met with businesses in the last year or so that could have bought a group program or a lower program, but you didn't have it available, therefore they couldn't buy? You know, how much money have we left on the table by not offering those things? Great point. Thanks, Matt. What else? A product that guarantees 100% conversion. You would have enough inventory available that every single person you met bought something. Does that make sense? You have it there on the shelf. Yeah. Well, some of the biggest firms now are from coaches coming together and working together and building a bigger organisation. You know, how do we do that? Where is the inventory? You don't have to offer it yourself, just someone has to offer it. You know, who do you work with? Good. What else to have great inventory? Emerson. Ultimately, that's where Action Coach will move to. Ultimately, some of you in this room will build some very, very large teams, and other coaches will want to join it because of it. But someone's got to build that first. You know, I see the coagulation of coaches coming together happening quite often. If you find several coaches who have the skills that work together. You know, I know I use Ben and David as an example in Australia. Ben, without David's analytical skills and background business running skills and working in the back of the house doing that, Ben on stage would not happen. You know, Ben is not, no. You know, he's wonderful on stage and wonderful at training people and wonderful at doing that stuff, but when it comes to making sure the books are done, the accounts are run, this is done, that's, no, that's David. You know, so it's a very important point. But let's go back to inventory for a second. What else would we need to do to make sure we have great inventory? Well, let's just forget online, just go to leverage. Use the concept first. Would we make sure we have some programs that are leveraged as well as some programs that are one-to-one? Yes or no? You know, a great business doesn't only offer unleveraged programs. A great business offers leveraged programs. See, if you really understood it, you would understand that the best hourly rate in our business is not one-to-one coaching. Now, it's great profit, phenomenal profit, but the best revenue, the best hourly revenue comes from doing this. Stage time, where you've got 20 people paying you to be there rather than one person paying you to be there. No, it's about hourly rate. It's not about the big ticket item. It's about how much you can get per hour as a coach. That's where the big money comes in. You know, so leverage would definitely be a part of what you're doing. As much leverage as possible, but also having the ability to do the high profit items, the one-to-one coaching. So when you think about this, can you build your inventory before you've set your goals, before you've done your analysis and your plan and all that? You can't really, can you? Because until you know the market, it's almost impossible to know what you need to offer. If you knew that there were let's just have a guess, 1,000 tradespeople in your market area. Plumbers, carpenters, locksmiths, all of the trades-related fields. If you knew there were 1,000 of them, might you run a group coaching program just for tradespeople? Yes or no? That might be your inventory. Might you, if you knew there were 500 realtors in your area, have coaches on your team that only coach realtors? Yes or no? See, until you know the market, you can't set up a good inventory. An inventory of what's available for sale is based upon the market that you're going after, not based on what you want to deliver. If your clients came to you wanting to, yeah, but Brad, I really like selling these things. Yeah, but they don't sell. Yeah, but I really like selling them. But they don't sell. But I like them. You would say that they're nuts. So as coaches, we need to be so clear on who is our market, what do they want to buy? What does the market want to buy? Do you know the market doesn't want to buy one-to-one coaching? They don't want to buy that. Now, they'll do it if they have to, but they don't want to buy it. How esoteric is one-to-one coaching? How fluffy is it to sell? When you sit down with someone to explain, what do I actually get, Mandy, from one-to-one coaching? What do you do? What do I get? Where's the thing? I talk to you for an hour a week? I don't get it. But if you sit down in front of them and say, listen, here's the thing, Ian, what you get is you get these 4 workshops, then you get this, and then you get that, and you get these books, and these DVDs, and this stuff here, and this stuff here, and all of this, and all of that, and then that's what you get. Oh, I can buy that. And who can sell that? See, a great inventory has stuff that's easy to sell. One-to-one coaching is not an easy sell, but it's an easy sell if they've done group coaching for 6 months. It's an easy sell if they've done... Does that make sense? You know, one of my coaches in the US told me a story just when I was at conference. He had someone, you know, the Mentor Club program, and to make sure everyone's clear on what I mean by the Mentor Club, that's where you now do group coaching without having the full program running, where let's just say that this was one, well, there's too many there. Let's say there's 5 of you that want to do it. 5 of you, I'll sign you up for $350 a month, and you'll join a group of 5 business owners, and you'll be in a group coaching program. If you want to pay $500 a month, you can be in a group of 4 business owners, and you do a group coaching program. You've all heard that one on one of the CDs. I went through it on one of the CDs and all that stuff. So he brought a client into Mentor Club, knowing full well this guy should be on one-to-one. He knew this guy could afford a $2,500 a month one-to-one easy. But the guy was just, oh, well, I don't know. He said, well, look, I'm going to put you into one of our group coaching programs, $500 a month. I'll start a brand new group just for you, but there will end up being 4 business owners in that group. And that's what we'll do. Now, when he did the first few coaching sessions, it was just this guy, but then he sold another one, and after there was 3 in the group, what do you think this guy said? Hang on, I want to go back to just you and me. Well, that's fantastic. Let's do that then. And boom, all of a sudden a one-to-one client. You know, one of the ladies that started doing the Mentor Club stuff, she had 3 in a group, each of them at $750 a month, 3 in the group. One week, one of them didn't turn up. And the other 2 said, oh, where is this person? Oh, they've upgraded to just be one-on-one with me. Well, what do you mean they've upgraded? Well, her business is growing. Now she's ready to go just one-on-one because she actually wants to grow faster, and that's where she's at, and she's ready to do that. You 2 will be ready for it soon. See, start thinking about what inventory you have based on what the market is ready for, the size of the market, the number in the market. Now, that's where we need to be. Real great inventory comes from that. So, next one. Great marketing. Great marketing. Now, let me give you one clear distinction before we go on this one. The majority of coaches in my organization, I hate to say it, do not have a marketing machine. They run campaigns. They'll do a single campaign, get some clients, move on to the next campaign. They'll do a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here. Great marketing becomes a machine. It works so you don't have to. It produces results consistently and persistently so you don't have to worry about it. When we go to build great marketing, we have to really understand how we build great marketing. So first and foremost, we're going to spend a few tasks on this one. First and foremost, what is it that great marketing looks like? How do we build great marketing into our organization? What has to happen for the marketing to be great marketing, not good? Some of you are really good at marketing right now, but I don't want good anymore. I want great. So going from good to great, some of you in the room are crap to great, but that's okay. Okay? Some of the marketing is not even good yet. But what does it look like to have great marketing? Spend a minute on your table. Let's go. And start to finish up. And let's get some hands in the air. I want a whole bunch of stuff around this one. What makes great marketing happen? Let's get some hands in the air. Gary. Real clear target audiences, not just one, but many. Peter. It's got to definitely be leveraged. You got to have that happening. Know the numbers. You know, our business has never been simpler than the marketing numbers. 1,000 out to buy a sale. 1,000 out buys you this nudge in. I sit and I think about the number of coaches that just do not invest anywhere near enough in marketing, therefore they can never ever hit their goal. And why won't they invest in marketing? Because they haven't planned it, they haven't tested it, they haven't measured it. Peter. It's got to have a great marketer doing it. Can you, as a coach, with your 3 or 4 hours a week that you can devote to marketing, be a great marketer? No, you cannot. It's not possible for you to be a great marketer. You just don't have the time and resource mentally available. You're thinking all week about a dozen different businesses. They're called your clients. You're always thinking about their business, their marketing, their sales, their strategy, their customer service, their leverage, their cash flows, all of this. And yours is just one set of headspace of all of those. You know, we talk about leverage with this. I mean, let me just do the numbers just for a very simple process, right? If, let's say, well, you can do it in, well, euros, whichever way you want to do it. It's 1,000 to buy a sale. Right? This is the number that we've used forever. Let me ask all of you a very simple question. If I bought you a brand new one-to-one coaching client, 2,000 a month, and said to you, listen, I'm going to give you this client, John, or whoever gets, I'm going to give you this client, 2,000 a month, but would you mind if I kept the first month's fee as my fee for getting the client for you? Would that be okay? Yes. What would you say? Yes. Thank you. That's a good answer. Now, what if I said to you, but okay, this one was a bit of hard work. I want to keep the first 2 months because it took a bit of extra effort to get this person on board, but I'll keep the first 2 months' fee. Is that okay? What would most of you in the room say? Yeah, for sure. That'd be great. And thank you. That's right. Now, some of you, even if I said, listen, I'm going to keep the first quarter's fee. They paid us quarterly. I'm going to keep the first quarter's fee. Would you let me keep the first quarter's fee? Some of you would say, well, some of you would say no, but most of you would say yes. So you've just agreed to give me, all of you agreed to $2,000 a client. Every one of you. In fact, most of you were like, yes, please. Yes, please let me spend $2,000 getting a client. Yeah, it's not. But most of you then agreed to give me $4,000. Most of you said, yep, I'd give you $4,000. Some of you said, yep, I'd even give you $6,000. Huh, so what's the difference?
One's in cash and the other's in...
What's the difference? The difference is some of them you actually have to make an investment and the other ones you're just waiting for things to fall in your lap. No, it's a guaranteed outcome if you've tested and measured. Every one of you in this room already knows approximately your acquisition cost. And I guarantee it's not $4,000. For most of you, it's what? 1.5, 1,800, 700, you know, those sort of numbers. And you sit down and you think about it. What is the difference between someone that will invest the cash and someone that won't invest the cash to do the marketing to build the business? On your table, 1 minute. What's the difference between those two people? Go. $20 seconds. And start to finish up. Let's get some hands in the air. What are the differences? Go. Proactive versus reactive. Definitely a part of it. What else? Matt. Well, if you don't know the numbers, you can't do the investing. It's as simple as that. If you don't actually test and measure and know the numbers, you can't see it as an investment. Every time you do it, it's a gamble. You know, it's a crapshoot sort of thing. Good. Peter. Yeah. Well, one of the clients, I'll flip that over just for a second because it's an important point. One of the coaches in the US actually stood up in front of the group and said, I sit with people and say to them, because I don't have many room for any new clients, he keeps his clients for a long time, and he said, I say to people, listen, if you can't convince me that I'll make you an extra 100,000, then it's not worth me spending time with you. You have to convince me that I can make you an extra 100,000 before it's worth me working. Because I don't want clients that stay for 3 months, 6 months. I want you to be with me for several years. So unless you can convince me that I'll make you 100,000, it's not worth me working with you. You know, so it's that whole mindset. But lifetime value, every single one of you in this room has a lifetime value of over 12 grand. You know, when you sit and start thinking about it, that's not a difficult decision. 1,000 out for 12 back, 2 out for 12 back. What else? What are the reasons? What's the others? Andrew. Sorry, a little louder. Yeah? I think people with marketing experience will put the money up, but still then they stop. What's the deal with that? You know, I think it comes down to several very important things. Number one, if you don't know your numbers, you will not do marketing. You just won't. Okay? It's as simple as that. Number two, you're not charging for the alignment. If you are not charging for the alignment, then you're not making your marketing money back, therefore you can't reinvest in marketing. Every one of you in this room should have a separate bank account for marketing. The first check from every new customer goes into that account to reinvest to go and buy more new customers. Does that make sense? The first check from every customer. You told me you'd let me keep the first month's fee. So let your marketing keep the first month's fee and the alignment from every client to rebuild your business. If you're not reinvesting your money back into marketing, if you're pulling it out of the business, it can't grow. It just can't. I think the third thing is that you haven't done a plan. If there is no marketing plan, then how can you possibly do great marketing? How can you possibly invest the money? I think the fourth thing is that we jump from one strategy to the next, 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 without really getting any results. Like the coaches who I mentioned who went after the accountants, they went to the accountants and they went to the well once, got a few people and thought, we're done. We've got the only ones that'll buy. Who remembers Jay Conrad speaking to us in Dublin? Jay Conrad said, how many times do you need to actually communicate with someone before they will be ready to just walk up to you and give you money? 27 times. Now, some of the people you communicate, you'll get them within 7 pieces of communication. But most of them, you just need... How many of you have got people that you communicated with 4 or 5 years ago that finally signed up now? Some people are high S's to the nth degree. Some people, though, you know what they're doing? They're watching. They're waiting. They're going, I'm going to see if that Christine person's still around doing this business coaching thing in 5 years. If she's still around in 5 years, then I'll sign up. You know, it happens every single time. It just happens again and again and again. But if we're not consistent in our marketing, how can we reinvest? Here's a very simple piece of numbers for you. Let's imagine that in your marketplace there were 10,000 businesses that were ones that we wanted to target, 10,000 of them. And every single month I said to you, you have to send a piece of mail to those businesses every single month, every month, what would that cost? £1, €1 to send a piece of mail. Let's just make it easy for math and say it's one to do one. So there's 10,000 you've got to invest every single month to mail to all of them. To get that business, how many clients do you have to get from that 10,000 mailing? You have to get 10 of them to do that. How would you get 100 of them to respond to you from mailing 10,000 of them every single month? What offer might you have to make? I bring me to this point. The reason why most of you don't invest in marketing is because you're lazy marketers. Lazy marketers throw money at it rather than investing time, energy, and effort testing and measuring. Testing and measuring is what makes marketing work. Why do most coaches just throw money at it? Because there's no plan behind it, therefore there's no testing, no measuring. If we do real testing, and we'll get more into what that looks like after the break, but if we do real testing, we're not going to do a mail piece to 10,000 before we've sent it to 100. We're not going to even write a mail piece until we've tested a dozen headlines on Google Ads to see which of our headlines actually is the right headline. We're not going to run an offer until... See, what I mean by lazy coaching or lazy marketing, what offer do you guys make? Free coaching, diag, or 6-step seminar. They're the only two free offers. For God's sake, that's lazy as crap. If you go to a group of accountants, let's say I mail a group of accountants, do they want to have a free hour's coaching? No, they don't have a free hour. What does that group of accountants actually want? They want better time management for all of their staff. What else do they want? Well, hang on. Just focus on what they want right now as accountants. What does an accountant want? Not as what does any business want. What does the accountant actually want? Do they want better leadership and management in amongst their organisation? Yes or no? So instead of a free hours diag, what about a free hours leadership training for your senior people? What about a free hours training on time management for all of your top staff? Am I making sense here? The laziness of not following the who, what, where, why, and how means that we just throw money at stuff or time at stuff and we don't do good marketing. Great marketing is what we're going for. Great marketing is built on achieving real results with the marketing we do. It's about building a marketing machine in each area. You know, that's what we're looking for. To me, and I should have redrawn, you know how I do the 10 by 10, like the 10 things? I should have drawn it like this. Build one strategy, get it working. Once it's working and it's operating by an employee, by someone else and generating leads, then and only then move on to the next strategy. Once that's working and run by an employee full-time, they're doing it, you don't have to, it works, you're out there making sales rather than doing marketing, then and only then move on to the next strategy. This should take about 1 quarter per strategy to get it tested, measured, working, and so on. Not 1 week, not 3 weeks, but a quarter, 3 months. Get it working, get it up to scratch. We'll discuss more about this. We're going to take a break. Tea and coffee is just out in the foyer. So we're going to take a break right now. We're going to come back and discuss marketing and go into more detail because I want real marketing plans this year. Real marketing plans. With that, everybody up. Lots to lock in, lots to let go. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Whoosh. Back here at 11 o'clock, gang. Back in at 11.